this video, I'm going to be talking through the 6 golden rules to follow when writing a literature essay, and this will just take your essay from being average to being great. Now, I am going to be using my laptop on the side, so if you see me just looking over, that is why. It's just easier for me. I'm used to teaching with slides, and so it just makes the whole filming process a lot quicker. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I just want to explain what I'm going to be doing in this video. Like I said, I'm going to go through some rules, and that will help you just write a better essay in future. This isn't a step-by-step guide. That will be an upcoming video. So I'm hoping to film that in the next few days, and that should be up hopefully in the next week or two. And that will be a much more detailed step-by-step formula what to actually do. This video is just some tips that you can implement to really elevate your essay and things that are going to separate your essay from the mediocre ones. Okay, so as I talk through this video, I'm going to be using some examples from the Shakespeare play Macbeth. That's just because I taught it earlier this year, so it's still a little bit fresh in my mind. So any examples that I use will just be referencing Macbeth, but obviously you'll be able to apply these rules to any work of literature, whether that's a book or a play or whatever that you have done. Okay. I have found that students often have a mental block towards a literature essay, which is really sad because it's actually the one essay where you can do really, really well, assuming you prepare for it. You don't need to worry about being creative. You don't need to worry about coming up with original ideas. All you need to do is make sure that you have studied, you have, read the literature work, you have explored different themes and different characters, and you just really understand the book or the play. That is it. And your teacher will often emphasize the important themes and characters and relationships, and that should give you a hint as to how to prepare. So, what is a literature essay? When you are writing a literature essay, you are essentially, making a judgment about a book or a play, but I don't want you to think about it as giving your own opinion. Sometimes you are asked for your opinion, but not always, so you have to read your question very carefully. The question you need to answer will usually focus on characters or the relationship between them, or themes and symbols that are used throughout the book or the play. A literature essay is not a summary of the book or the play, and that is so super important. I often find that students fall into the trap of just summarizing the piece of literature, but I'll get into that more in a moment. You'll either be asked to discuss a point or argue a point. You need to read your question carefully so that you know what is expected of you. So, straight into the 6 golden rules. Number 1, do not retell or summarize the story. Okay, so I have briefly mentioned this, but let's just go into it a little bit deeper. One of 2 things usually happen when a student is asked to write a literary essay. So we have those students who did not prepare, and we have those students who did prepare. And those who did not prepare will think that if they just summarize the play or the book, they will pass the essay, and the teacher will think, wow, they actually know what's going on. But you haven't answered the question, and so you're not actually going to get marks for that. Don't fall into the trap of remembering what you read in class and relying on that to get you through. It's not going to help you. You need to apply that knowledge to the specific question. Now, the other student who has prepared, it's almost like they have too much knowledge and they want to show off how much knowledge they have. And again, this can derail you a little bit because you are not answering the question. You are trying to show your teacher how much you remember and how much you studied, but if it isn't relevant to the question, again, you're not going to get marks for that. So it is a skill to be able to apply your knowledge to a certain question. Don't try and prove how much you know, and don't expose yourself by how little you know. Answer the question and stay on topic. Everything that you include in your essay needs to relate to the essay question. Okay, rule number 2. If you are asked to give an opinion, or if you are asked whether you agree or disagree with the statement, just choose a side. You cannot argue both sides and say, well, yes, I see it from this point, but I also see it from this point. Yes, obviously, that is why it is a question, because both points can be explored. You need to choose a side. As I say to my students, if you sit on the fence, you're going to get a wedgie. Just pick a side and argue that side well. Throughout your essay, if you have chosen to agree with the statement, then you must agree with the statement. If you have chosen to disagree with the statement, then you must disagree with the statement the whole way through. You cannot chop and change, and you can't be unsure of yourself, just as I was in that point in time. Don't do that in your essay. You need to come across as confident, like you know what you are arguing and you believe wholeheartedly in what you are arguing. All right, number 3, write in present tense. This might feel a little bit weird at first. You feel like you have read the book, you've read the play, so it's happened in the past tense. But the thing with literature is that it never dies, right? So the characters are actually still in action, if you will. All right, so you need to write as if the events in the book or the play are currently happening. So, for example, from Macbeth, you wouldn't say the witches appeared to Macbeth. You need to word it like this: the witches appear to Macbeth, because that is present tense. Another example, you would say Lady Macbeth convinces Macbeth to kill King Duncan. You wouldn't say Lady Macbeth convinced Macbeth to kill King Duncan. Again, you are keeping your verbs in the present tense. Okay. Rule number 4, try not to use I, me, my pronouns. Avoid saying something like I think or in my opinion. You are writing the essay. Obviously, it is what you think, okay? You don't need to say that. And in fact, it actually makes you sound a little bit unsure of yourself. So rather come across with more authority by simply stating the fact. So you wouldn't say, I think that the witches are a symbol of evil. No, just say the witches are a symbol of evil. That's it. You come across as authoritative and confident and like you are well prepared. Good. Number 5, avoid using rhetorical questions. Now, this is for a very similar reason as the previous step. It makes your essay sound immature and it leaves room for the reader to question you. You don't want to be questioned. You are coming across as the authority, as the expert, right? So use statements, don't use questions. So don't say, what is the symbolism of blood in Macbeth? Well, it is actually to show the guilt that Macbeth feels. You're not in a conversation with the reader. Don't do that. Also, that's a primary school essay. Well, let me tell you, in this essay, that is the question I'll be answering. Yeah, that's lazy. Don't do that. Okay? Another example could be, does Macbeth have his own thoughts? Or is he just manipulated by everyone around him? No, rather rework that thought into a statement. So instead of asking your reader for permission, like, can I think this? Is this right? No, it is right. It is what you think, and you are coming across as the expert. So the proper way to word those examples would be, blood is a symbol used throughout Macbeth to show the guilt that Macbeth feels. Done. Or the other example, Macbeth is manipulated by everyone around him to the extent where he does not have his own thoughts anymore. Easy peasy. Statement, you come across as clear and confident. And our last one, this is more like a bonus rule, rule number 6. Learn some quotes off by heart. Okay, this is going to take your essay to the next level. Try to learn quotes that could apply to multiple different topics or themes, because that way when you are in your exam, you obviously don't know what the essay topic is going to be, but you could learn some quotes that could be applied to multiple different themes. So you could use that quote whatever the essay question is. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind, quotes that reveal who a character is or their true intentions. That is going to be a really, really good quote to learn off by heart if your essay topic is about a character or any kind of character development in the play. And also, like I said earlier, your teacher will probably emphasize a few quotes or tell you to highlight a few quotes. Keep those in mind. All right. Trick here is to not learn long quotes. Again, you're not trying to show off, you're just trying to make your essay good. Okay? You are allowed to quote parts of what someone has said. You don't need to learn 10 lines of something. Just learn a few important lines. Keep it short and simple, because that way you are more likely to remember it and you're less likely to make a mistake. Remember also to put it in quotation marks in your essay, because you are quoting from a piece of literature. And I want you to think of quotes as being the extra spice that you're adding onto your essay. Don't panic if you can't remember a lot or if you go blank in the exam. It's fine, you can still write a fabulous essay without bombarding your essay with quotes. Just learn one or two and don't let it be the focus. Rather focus, like I said earlier, on characters, their relationships, themes, symbols, and use quotes to simply enhance your argument. And so that is it for this video. Like I said, I'll be uploading a step-by-step guide on how to write a literature essay in the near future. So if you want to see that, make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss that video. If you have any questions or any other videos you'd like to see me do, you are welcome to leave that in the comments. Yep. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!